It's time now for a look at all the day's sports news. We turn to James Vizina.
Hi, François.
And we begin with the Champions League.
Champions League, second night of the week for the next games in the group stages. Two games are about to kick off. Slavia Prague against Dortmund, both looking for a win. And the determined Henk, who suffered a 6-2 loss against Salzburg 2 weeks ago, are facing off against Napoli. But later tonight, Barcelona entertain Inter Milan. Both teams also looking for their first win after draws from either side in the opening of their campaigns, with both Messi and Dembele returning from injuries and uncertain to be included in the lineup. The odds of the past games could be reversed to only one win for Inter Milan, but 4 for Barcelona in their previous clashes in the Champions League. But with Lukaku ruled out, Antonio Conte says this is once again Inter's biggest challenge.
As I always tell my players, our most important game, the match of our lives, is the one we must play next. Right now, for us, our most important game is the one against Barcelona. I don't think we need an extra stimulus, because the simple mention of the name Barcelona is already a stimulus to us.
Solo a nominarlo dà degli stimoli.
Now let's take a look at the other games lined up for tonight. In Group E, Salzburg are travelling to Anfield after the Liverpool champions started out with a 2-0 defeat against Napoli. Chelsea are under pressure as they travel to Lille. Frank Lampard still unsure whether Conte will be fit enough to take part in after the team's 1-0 loss to Valencia. Meanwhile, the Spaniards will host 4-time winners Ajax, and Lyon travel to Leipzig after a difficult start, hoping to clinch 3 points over there in Germany. Now to the Rugby World Cup. France beat the United States in their second game of the qualifying rounds, but only after a struggle that eased in the last 20 minutes. France, who were wearing black armbands in memory of Jacques Chirac, and they were up 12-0 before the USA narrowed the gap with a 12-9 deadlock that they finally broke in the 67th minute, with consecutive tries from Gaël Ficou, Baptiste Serin and Jefferson Poirot, as the Bleus finished 33-9.
We're glad to have won and taken the bonus points. Clearly, it was a challenge. Physically, there was a lot of humidity, and we were a bit slow at the start and made quite a few handling errors. We didn't have good control of the game, but it's still a positive outcome with this 5-point victory.
Now, the real test for France will come as they face England for a place in the quarter-finals. That will be taking place on the 12th of October. Meanwhile, New Zealand crushed Canada 63-0 as the All Blacks scored 9 tries, 4 of which were scored within the 10 opening minutes of the second half. Now, in the Athletic Championships, Katarina Johnson-Thompson has smashed her personal record in the 100-metre hurdles, gaining 0.21 seconds, bringing her best down to 13.09 seconds. Last night, Noah Lars clinched his first gold in a major championship, as the 22-year-old came first in the 200-metre final with a 19.83-second win, just short of Canadian Andre De Grasse, who earned silver. The new world champion said it was the hardest race in his professional career.
The race could have been a little quicker, but to be honest, the first thing on the list at this World Championships was grabbing the gold, and that goal has been achieved. It was actually my hardest race I've had of my pro career. I think the one before this was grabbing my first Diamond League 200 victory.
You know, my legs kind of gave out a little bit in the last 15 meters, but all the races I've done, but I'm happy, I'm blessed to get back on the podium, and it feels pretty good. So I'm looking forward to trying to get one more in the 4x1 relay in a couple of days.
And we finished with some tennis with both the Chinese and Japanese Opens. In China, Andy Murray has made it through to the quarterfinals for the first time after returning from his hip surgery, beating fellow Brit Cameron Norrie, with the first 2 sets ending on tiebreaks 7-6, 6-7, 6-1. He'll be facing Dominic Thiem on Friday. Ashley Barty beat Zhen Sai in a 3-set win, while Jennifer Brady beat fellow American Madison Keys 2-6, 6-4, 6-4. And over in Japan, Novak Djokovic will be up against Luca Pouille, also in the quarterfinals, easing past local favourite Gu Sueda 6-3, 7-5. The next games in the round of 16 of both tournaments, François, taking place tomorrow.
All right, many thanks for that, James Vizina. We'll have more sports news later, including, of course, those Champions League results.